Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Asim. I'm working as DevOps engineer. Guys, in this video, I'm going to cover the ECS exec, why we need it, just like Docker exec or kubectl exec. Sometime we need to debug the issues regarding the connectivity or whatever. We need to go inside the container. So how we can do that in the ECS, I'm going to cover this today. So this is my Chasm desktop. I already made videos with regard to the SSM and Chasm desktop. Simply you navigate to my channel, right, and type Chasm. So how we can use the Chasm desktop, you will find the videos regarding that, and like SSM with regard to the DevSecOps, I already made the video. You can check that, right? So I'm not going to cover that in the video. Why we are using, I've already covered in that video, right? So in this I'm going to cover from the scratch. First of all, navigate to the ECS service. I'm going to spin up a fresh container, and your understanding with regard to the exec will be hopefully clear, and it is going to be really easy, to be really honest. I'm going to create cluster, right? That's fine, and I'm going to give cluster name Cloud Geeks -ca, right? And enable insights. So just create it. So view cluster, this cluster is done. I'm going to create one task definition, right? So click next, and I'm going to call this, give this task definition green, just to give you an easy understanding that, and this is the same name I'm going to use for my container and service, right? So currently the task role is not there. Okay, I'm going to create a task role, right? Why we need it? Because we are going to use SSM in order to exec into this container. So I've already created a document for you guys. Simply what we need. First of all, I'm going to show you that as per this document, navigate to this document. You should have SSM installed in your machine, SSM plugin, whether you are using Windows or everything. But my strategy is different in a way that I told you Chasm Desktop, it is running in container, right? So whether you're using Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, whatever, I would like to use the stuff from the um, container. And here there are different plugins for Linux, Mac OS, but simply I would like to, for debugging, I would like to use the container. So this is the container, and it has a UI as well, just like normal desktop, but it is running in the container. So it has all the stuff with regard to that. As I told you, I've made the video with video. So what I'm going to do, simply I'm going to copy this guy. I'm going to install this. So to install this, it is just like you're installing in a Debian package, D package, -I for install, and this is the deb package. So simply I'm going to download this guy. To download this guy, I'm going to use this command, right? So before that, let me show you that why we should go for this one. So I mean, I'm going to exec into my container, interactive shell into my container. The container name is asim, right? So I'm in my container. So if I do cd, and you see this is mounted on my host machine, Windows machine, and I'm going to simply curl this, and this package is going to be downloaded on my container, but as it is mounted, you will see that it should be available here. So this is the second session manager deb package, and I'm going to simply install it. And to install it, I'm going to use this command, right? So this is done, right? So this is the first step. And other than that, you should have your credential in order to access this my administrator credential. I'm going to use AWS configure, right? And I'm going to say this is the US East one. Type instead of text, I should say JSON, and that's it, right? So don't worry, these are just the sandbox environment. It's going to be destroyed in a few moments. So I'm going to create one role. So click on the create role and simply select service ECS, and let me press, sorry, uh, this one, elastic container service, right? So you see the four option. We need to select a service which give access uh, to access the other services of AWS. Let me tell you that SSM lives outside your VPC, so you should have either public IP available on the container, or you should have a NAT gateway, or you can access the SSM directly by using the AWS backbone. So allow ECS tasks to call AWS services on your behalf. Right, I'm going to select that and okay, and click next. And I'm going to create one policy, and regarding that creation of policy, I'm going to call that policy as let me simply copy this guy, and the policy I've already pasted here, right? So simply copy this guy and let me paste it here. This is done. Forget this, you don't have permission, leave it. Okay, I'm going to call this ECS exec. Okay, ECS exec, right? And I'm going to create this policy, and this policy is created, and I'm going to navigate back to my role, click refresh, type uh, exec, and select this guy, and I'm going to call this ECS exec row, whatever you want to give this name, that's fine. I mean, it's totally up to you. I'm just creating a demo, so I'm giving this meaningful name to this guy. I'm going to refresh it, so you see this role is now available, and I'm going to select the Linux. This minimum is fine, and let me add a container. As I told you, I'm going to use the same name, green, just for the simplicity. QuickBooks 2018, and this is my container living on the Docker Hub public registry, and I'm going to use the latest, and that's it. Just leave everything, and I'm going to simply add this guy, create a task definition, and you see the task definition is created, and simply navigate back to the cluster, click create service, right? I'm going to select Fargate. Everything is okay. I'm going to give this same name, green, right? I want to have one replica rolling updates. That's fine. Click next. Okay. Hmm. I'll forget to select this one. So I'm going to use the default VPC. I'm going to select all these subnets, and just to update you, all these subnets, as this is the default VPC, it has public, I mean, IP address enabled, and it has the accessibility to access the IGW Internet Gateway, right? So I'm going to select the default security group, that's fine. And I'm going to show you my application. So enable and disable public IP. If I disable this IP, you won't be able to access the SSM. As I told you that from in the start of my video, if this IP, yeah, I disable it, you need to have a NAT gateway or SSM should be accessible through AWS backbone. So currently I don't have any NAT gateway enabled. So I should be able, I must enable this public IP, so communication with SSM is going to be possible, the return traffic, right? So click next, create service, right? And it will take some time, and I'm going to also show you that the security group, I'm going to enable the traffic to the, okay, I got to forget the port mapping to port 80. Anyway, I'm going to do that as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to simply allow the HTTP traffic, but as I told you, the port mapping, I forget it. So as I usually do, forget a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to till it become ready, I'm going to simply create a new revision of this guy, right? So nothing we have to do much. So so we are going to simply um add the port mapping, and I'm going to say to the port 80, right? So when you do update, also you should check this guy as well, and I'm going to create it, and I'm going to deploy the new revision of my container, right? So I'm going to click on service, and I'm going to click on update, select the second, or sorry, in fact, I created third revision. So I'm going to do force redeploy and skip review. That's it. So that part is done. What it does is gonna spin up a new deployment for us. If you click on the deployments, you will see that new revision is going to be spin up shortly, just like in Kubernetes. So also, if you navigate to the task definition, if you click the third revision, and if you click this guy green, you see now we have the this port mapping enabled. And if I navigate back to the cluster section, click this guy, and if I click this and navigate to the task section, you see two tasks running, but we need this guy with the third revision. So I'm going to simply select this guy, and you see it has the public IP available, and I'm going to copy this guy. I'm going to paste it here, right? So you see my application is available, up and running. So now we are going to exec into this container, navigate to my documentation. This part is done. So after the service started, um, what we are going to do is simply enable the execute command. As I told you, we have done the first SSM command. So simply you need to copy this guy and update with the service. So definitely I'm going to copy this guy, and I'm going to simply paste this guy into my container. But the cluster name, let me see, which I also forget, is Cloud Geeks CA. So I'm going to simply update this guy, and I'm going to click this guy. So if everything goes well, press enter, press enter, enter, enter. Okay, wait, so let me just double check it. Okay, so this is the command. Okay, right. So service is green, cluster name is Cloud Geeks CA, right? So you see all the stuff regarding to that, and running task stop. Okay, So what it does, let me show you that part. So it will create a new deployment, and if I navigate to the section in the services section, right, click this green, you see the new version of our deployment is going to be running. Let it finish. In fact, what I can do, I just wanna, you see, this is the previously this one should be, we should be able to see. I mean, now we have two deployments with both third task, right? So this command does, has create it has created the new deployment, right? So let it finish. Once it's done, we are going to um take the ID of that particular task which has been created by the new by this command, right? So you can kill the old one as well, but let me also show you that there is a time as well, which one is the latest and which one is the previous one. So okay, this is the time created at this 8:11 this second, right? And this is created in 8:13. So this is the latest, and we have the task ID which we need. We are going to copy, right? So we are going to use this command bash I'm using because the container I have, it has bash already available. So I'm going to paste this guy, and I need to update this guy with the task ID of that, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply copy this guy, and I'm going to paste paste it here, right? So it it is not allowing me to do that. Okay, that's fine. Let me paste this command in a, or I can paste it here, right? And I'm going to simply replace this guy. This is the task ID, right? And I'm going to simply replace this guy with this one. Control V, and I'm going to update the name of the cluster. The name of the cluster this time is Cloud Geeks -CA. So let's try to copy this guy and simply paste this command here. Okay. You see the manager plugin has installed successfully, and I'm inside the container. Why? How can I show you? This is the IP 172. This is the default, and 172.31.6.136. Okay. So, okay, if I navigate to this task, and you see this is the private IP of this 172.31.6.136. That is it, guys. And yeah, if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. I'm going to copy the uh, public IP of this guy, and you see. And if I do ls here, and if I navigate to cd usr right, share nginx, right, and html, and I do if I do app update -y, and then apt installed the heaviest thing, which is in terms of container vim. So I'm installing the vim. Even I can use the echo command, but I just want to show you what is inside that particular index .html. I can do cat as well, but I like Vim, right? So if I do ls here, Vim index.html. So this is my Cloud Geeks CA, and I'm going to press CA green, and if I do as I'm going to say ECS Exec and press enter, and if I navigate back to this guy, you see it is working. That's it, guys. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. And have a nice day. Thank you.